So I need to know right away that things are working. Okay, I know the video's working. Is the audio working? Well, it shows I'm live, and I've got a picture, and it shows there too. Well, yeah, because I can hear it here in the other browser. Okay, so everything's working. Hey, you made it there. Great to have you with us here today. Hey, in the meanwhile, Marks, if you can get that background noise toned down just a little bit. Yeah, there was some kind of music or a TV show. Hello there, Respawn, and hello, Zukluk 56. I believe you're in the Czech Republic. And hello, Albert. Yeah, we got a little feedback there. So maybe you want to mute that mic until you're ready to talk there, or use a headset. That's what I would recommend. Yeah, yeah, because I can hear what I'm saying echoing. It's coming back through our link. Okay. Yeah, that's better. So good afternoon, everybody. It's a beautiful day here in Kingsport, a little bit on the cold side. So why don't we go down the line? Tell us how you are doing today and how you're feeling. Here in America, we had Thanksgiving this week, and this was not a week to practice any kind of weight control. That was out the window. Okay, so I believe Albert, if I remember now, if I get the country wrong, uh, Albert, you're in Hungary, right? Did I get it right? Okay, how about that? How about that? So, what do you all want to talk about today? I had some things I wanted to bring up, some topics, but I want to usually at the beginning of the show, I bring up a few topics about. I want to talk about Cosmic real quick. That's a new desktop that's coming here on December 11 of this year. And I have labeled it a galactic disappointment. There's a bug in the video library for, it's called WGPU, so that's Wayland, that causes the Cosmic app library to crash, and it will render the desktop unusable unless you kill a Cosmic comp, and basically starts all over. Well, Respawn, I never knew you were in Croatia. That's great to have you with us today. Yes, you all three of you are. Isn't that wonderful? Yeah, so somebody in Discord, and I won't reveal who they are because they're quite young. And also, somebody might see this on the replay, so we don't want to ID anybody. But this last week, they complimented me in the server about how relaxing my voice was. Apparently, they were watching some of the replays of the Linux Hour. And I thought that was really nice because I do receive a fair amount of grief because I'm older than most of the people in Discord. And the world would be a better place if we thought more positively about what people bring to the table. Okay. So I'm going to show a few things here. Let's take a look at the latest Linux Mint news. Okay. All right, there's the latest. This is October, but it's always a month behind. So Linux Mint is continuing to work on the new Cinnamon menu applet. And this will probably be out for beta testing in mid to late December. So this is going to be a new menu than we're used to looking at, the one we've had the last 10 years. But I'm fairly certain that you'll be able to use the traditional menu, that you'll be able to switch it back. Okay. So there's a preview. It might not look like this when it's actually released, but there's a preview of it. It looks a lot really like XFCE, if you think about it. The change to the traditional menu, which I can show you in just a second. Okay. And they're going to have an improved system information application where you'll actually be able to upload some of this. You lost the video. Okay. What shows that here everything is still on. Let me stop share the menu here. Okay. Is the video still on? Okay. Okay, so now you're saying the video came back. Hello there to the new person. It's hard for me to pronounce your name there with additional characters, but how about if I just call you AR for abbreviation? Did the video come back now, Marks? Or are we completely gone? Yeah, Marks, did it come back? Okay, that was very strange how that happened. Okay, that's good to know. Okay, well, welcome to the program there. Would you like to ask a question there? Okay, there's just no telling. I think that's a problem that could have occurred upstream with YouTube. How about Albert? Can you still see me? Gosh, I would hate with the great turnout we're going to have today. Great. Yeah, that could be just a YouTube problem. We're going to have technical difficulties. Yeah. Okay, so the gentleman or gentle person who joined, I can't pronounce that name. They said hello with the red character. Would you like to ask a question? Or say you said hello. Would you like to ask a question today? So for those that don't know, this is the Linux Hour where we chat. We ask questions and answers. We're on the air here every Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay, so yeah, that's what I suspect. Well, Marks is on the line here. I think Marks wants to say hello. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here with Instagram. And Marks, you can say hello to everyone. Okay, so what are we still having? Yeah, are we still having problems? Well, that's right. Um, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and share that window with everybody. I'm going to share your Instagram call. Okay. Here we go. So you're live there, Marks.
Oh, joy.
Yeah, so go ahead and say hello and whatever message you want to deliver.
Oh, well, hello, world. All six of you. Oh, well, hello, world. All six of you. Is that what it is? Six in there?
Yeah, we're going to have a pretty good turnout today, though, because usually we don't have 6 people until we're 30 minutes into the program. So what you might want to do there, Marks, is get some earbuds or something to stop that echo or that delay.
You think that would do it? Because I can turn the volume off on my speakers,
Well,
then I can't hear you at all.
Okay, well that's where
that's why
that's why people in TV studios wear earbuds and everything like that.
Yeah, mine are too far away.
You know, when I do it in the studio there, I wear those expensive headphones when I do the live from the studio, and that's why, is to stop all the feedback and the echoes. Okay, so we'll come back to you as the show progresses. If you want to make a comment or answer a question, I see you have everything ready for Christmas.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Back to this. All right. So did you all like that? Did you all enjoy getting to see Mark's? We'll be back with him. Yeah, that black screen should go away in a bit there, Albert. Okay, so tell us a little bit about yourself there, abnormal in racy. I have no idea how to pronounce your name. If you could help me out there, please, I would appreciate that. Okay, I'm gonna hear that echo for the whole rest of this show. Yeah. It's like whenever I'm on Discord and I'm chatting with some of these people in the former Eastern Bloc countries, they usually have some TV show going on in the background, and it's so funny. Yeah, I can hear the other language, of course, because usually I'm speaking with people in English. Okay, well, while we're waiting for some questions, I guess we can do some show and tell. What I'll do is I'll share a few things here. How about my Discord client? And you all can see what I'm doing in Discord. How about that? Okay. So this is my presence in Discord, and I'm on a lot of different servers in Discord. Let me minimize this. And so that's Ableton Live, Zorin System 76, YouTube Small Channel, and then there's some voice chats, and movies and filmmaking, photography lounge, experimental music, sound design, photography and filmmaking, Debian, the big D, the Prism launcher, and Linux Mint and electronic music production. But I spent a lot of time here in Linux Mint. And if you're new to Linux Mint, You want to learn some things. Oh, there's some people right now in voice chat. Okay. And there's support groups and all kinds of information. It can be a helpful place to hang out in. All right. So there we go on. I'm also on some other, let me go ahead and stop sharing and share the whole window so we can see the whole thing. Let's do this. Let me share the entire screen. Oops. It says I can't do that. It says I cannot do that on this particular. I'm going to have to move to some studio software. Let's try this again. Okay. So here's the entire screen. This is a client that connects, a desktop client that connects to the Linux Mint community chat, which is not very active. Okay. And then this is the official Pop OS chat on a client they call Mattermost. Okay. And then of course we just looked at the Linux Mint community there on Discord. So there's always lots to do here. Okay, that's enough. Let's go back. Okay, so Respawn, you didn't get to see. Okay, you're no activity on Element. I got you there. But yeah, I mean, there's so many different desktop clients to interact with the different official, okay, support groups for the different Linux, for Linux Mint and System 76. Okay, so the question is, did you try TSY more? Did you try more Linux? Yeah, yesterday in the other room, I reinstalled System 76 Cosmic. Let me type that out. And what I wanted to do was to do the program from the System 76 Cosmic desktop. The problem is that desktop is not stable enough to make it through an hour and a half here on YouTube. That will not be happening anytime soon. Maybe next year. But what I can do is I can share some pictures of my desktop. Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, the battery died on the laptop. Yeah, that happens. Well, Respawn is great as you joined us today. So you're back in your home country, because I thought you were traveling for work, that you were doing some computer consulting outside of your home country. Somebody dropped out on us. See, that's kind of the problem here with the chat on YouTube, is that you never know who's really still there, because it never gives you an entrance and exit message. So I guess we lost some of the people who came in the beginning. Yeah, Zook Luke 56. Okay, so you've always been in Croatia. I wasn't aware of that. I thought you were working in Norway for some reason. I had no idea. Well, we learn new things about each other, because you and we've been chatting for quite some time. So here's the question. And do you know some great Linux commands? Oh, I know. I mean, we've been on Internet Relay Chat for what, 5 years? And I never knew you were in Croatia. Yeah. Yeah. Well, the thing about the Linux commands is you're going to have to do those from the command prompt in a terminal window. And my question is, are you ready for that yet? Okay, see, I knew Norway was connected in some way because I thought that you were working in Norway for a period of time. Okay, a lot of things have gotten more expensive. Boy, Santa Claus is going to have a real tiny bag this year when he squeezes down the chimney. It's going to be the size of a sock puppet. Yeah. Well, let me do this. Since you asked about Linux commands, I've got some resources I might be able to share here real quick with everybody here in the chat. So give me just a moment while I look it up. Believe it or not, okay, I'm going to go ahead and share this on the big screen. Okay. There is a book, and you can download it on the internet. Okay. It's 500 pages long. My goodness, it's big. This may or may not be helpful to you using the file system. It may or may not be helpful, but it's free. You can always give that a try. Okay. I know I had a free book online that you can download. There are several resources like a bash guide for beginners, that may or may not be helpful. See what I will do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do some research on this, and I promise next week I will have a book that you can download free off the internet. Okay, and I'll provide a link of Linux commands to type in there. Yeah, what do you think there, Marks? Can we do that? Yeah, there was one from O'Reilly. Some of these are copyrighted and you can't download them. But I'll bet you if I did a search right now on the net, we could get one right now. Here we go. How about this? There you go. Yeah. And those you can, and that's fairly recent. That article is about a year old. Okay. Whoops. There you go. How about that? That ought to keep you busy. Hello there, Kitten Rules. Great to have you back with us here again today. How was your week? And if you like the program, give it a thumbs up. All right, there you go. Okay, and you can refer back to it, and you can download them one at a time. Whatever ones it says 20. Now let's take a look at some of these books together. How to Learn Linux the Best Free. The Linux Command Line. There you go. It's 500 plus pages. It's a must-have for anybody serious about learning the Linux command line. How about that? Okay. Then there's the introduction to Linux. Okay, now some of this you might have to provide an email to get it for free, but the author's been nice enough to provide that. Learn Linux in 5 days. Linux Fundamentals. How about that? The Ultimate Linux Newbie Guide. Apparently that's free. Okay. Linux from scratch. I like how this starts at the complex. It means starts at the easy and then gets down to the complex. See, then you get down to administration and actual writing bash scripting. But it starts here at the very top at the easy stuff and works its way down. Okay. All right. So Kitten Rules, how has your week been? Everything going good? How's the weather been out your way? I'm wearing my Star Trek shirt again this week. Yeah. Okay. You know, the thing is it doesn't snow that much here in Kingsport. Everything has to be exactly right for us to have snow here. First of all, we have to have a cold front that comes through from from Canada. We have to have a Canadian cold front that pushes through here and drops the temperature obviously below freezing. Then it has to stay here for 2 or 3 days. And then what will happen is we'll get some warm, moist air come up here from the Gulf of Mexico and push up against this cold front that's been sitting here for a few days, and then we'll get snow. The problem is because we're not near an ocean or a large body of water. Welcome back, Albert. What happens is there's not a large body of water nearby. So we have to rely on moisture coming all the way up here from the Gulf of Mexico, colliding with the cold air mass to get snow here. So it doesn't snow here very much at all, really. Our annual snowfall is like 8 inches a year, which would look like this. That's about 8 inches. That's our annual snowfall, everything. And some winters, it only snows like 2 times. Okay. So that's kind of the story about the snow here. See, in places like Ohio, they're right off of the Great Lakes. So you've got that moisture. But here, we're in the mountains. And unless we get this moist air coming up from the southern United States colliding with the cold air, then we get snow. As a matter of fact, we've already had snow this year. That was a surprise. Do you know how much snow we had? That's how much snow we had. And it was gone in 3 hours and it was all melted. So, Kitten Rules, are you out of school right now? On a school break? Well, that's right. And that's why places like Boston and Philadelphia, which are right off the Atlantic coast, are known for tremendous snow drifts. As a matter of fact, there's a particular weather phenomenon just for those people who live in that part of the United States. It's called a nor'easter. Okay, so what are you going to be doing until the springtime? All right. So B&H is the name of that photography store, that giant photography store, and I think it's a couple blocks in Madison Square Garden. It's called B&H. You've never been there? Okay. That's one of my must-see places when I go to New York again. Hey, I see we have 5 people here. If you haven't introduced yourself, put your name there in the chat window. Ask a question. Let's talk about Linux. Oh, Strawberry Kitten, you're back. How are you today? Yeah, I think somebody mentioned something like that, but it's just a coincidence. It's just a coincidence there. Strawberry Kitten, how are you doing? What are you doing, Linux? Yeah, I did watch that. I did watch the Linux tech tips, and when they pulled out that processor, that $5,000 processor, okay, I kind of lost interest in the YouTube, and I closed it. You know, when they talked about building that computer for Linus, and he pulled out that $5,000 processor, it was $49.99. I said, "Oh man, this is like way over." Yeah. So, Strawberry Kitten, what do you do in Linux? Are you still curious about it, or you're actually running Linux? Oh, be careful because Albert is a Casanova. Watch out, ladies. I'm just kidding. Oh, that's quite a long time. Are you on Discord? Yeah, I started using Linux in 2016. You don't use social media. Well, that explains. Okay, that explains it. I thought maybe you were somebody from Discord who came to join us. Yeah, I started using Linux in 2016 when I needed to file my income taxes, and I tried to reinstall Windows. I'll always remember it was April the 14th. Okay, April the 14th, 2016. Okay, because so I needed to reinstall Windows 7, and it took like 24 hours. And I said, man, this is not working. I said, this isn't an operating system. This is an absolute torture. So I tried Linux. And I tried Linux Mint. Okay. And then I did what most new people do to Linux. I distro hopped continuously. Every week, I was on a different distro. I tried Manjaro, I tried Kubuntu, I tried KDE, I tried GNOME, I tried, back then they had Unity. Right. So the first couple months I distro hopped like mad, but nobody does it like Float. This guy on not on YouTube. This young man on Discord. He is the ultimate distro hopper. Before noontime, he's already been on 2 distros. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Actually, Float will change his avatar anywhere from 3 to 5 times a day. He'll change his avatar. Okay, so I guess Mark ended the call. Yeah, because I went back and Mark's wasn't there. Yeah, Mark, so you still here still here with us? Okay, all right. I noticed that reverb went away, and then I went over to see if you wanted to talk to everybody. And but now we know how to work around that. And when I get obsstudio working, it'll probably be a better experience. Oh, wow. What kind of controller is it? A game controller? Right. But not like this. This is just a Logitech 310. This is a classic game controller, folks. A true classic, the 310. As a matter of fact, that submarine that went down, the submarine that blew up, that little sub that was going down at the Titanic, they were actually using one of these to control that submarine. Can you believe that? Well, they were using one of these to help control it. That I think it was the Titan, that submarine that got crushed with the people in it. They were actually using a Logitech F310 to, I guess, to help control some things on the submarine. Yeah, can you believe that? Yeah, I think they were using Windows XP. Yeah. Yeah, it is sad. Ooh. Yeah, XFCE, you know what's great? You know what's great about XFCE is Albert hasn't discovered it yet. Albert hasn't discovered that a lot of people in Discord are into ricing, RICING, ricing their desktop. And XFCE has some excellent built-in themes to rice your desktop. Yeah, XFCE is very interesting, and it's lightweight, but also you can do a lot of cosmetic stuff with XFCE. You can have a lot of fun with it. There you go. You said the word. Thank you, Respawn. In Rising Powerhouse. Ding, ding. Yeah, how about that? So just by chance that Albert needed a Linux distro that would fit in a 4 gigabyte memory frame. Okay, just by chance he ended up on XFCE because of the three desktops that Linux Mint provides. XFCE was the best choice for a 4 gigabyte memory space. Well, go ahead and tell us what those are, Kitten Rules, because I don't know. And I like to learn new things every day. And even if they are a little negative, we can handle it here. So the term, see, I never knew the term rising in the world of computing until I landed on Discord. Okay. So go ahead and tell us what the term rising means. Okay. So we just, and you know, there's a lot of young people who are into those comics and cartoons that are created in Japan. I can't remember what those are, but a lot of young people are into these animated cartoons that are created in Japan, and they're relatively simple. Yes. And there are adult men who are into that. Okay. And they have no problem putting one of those anime characters on their avatar. And I asked people, I said, look, I said, you say that you're attracted to women. I said, you think a girl's going to see that and wonder about you? You know, all this pink and violet color thing. I mean, it's like I'm trying to think of the right word. It's like a femboy magnet. You want to show that in your avatar? Hey, I see we have some people who joined us today. Come on in. Put your name in the chat window, introduce yourself. We're just kind of having a free flow show today. We can talk about anything but religion and politics. We've got the holidays coming up here. Hey, I hope I did. You want to see something really cool, everybody? Yeah. Oh, darn it. Let me go back to the right folder. I'll tell you, when you have thousands of thingies. Somebody created an avatar for me for Christmas on Discord. Would you all like to see it? Come on, I want to hear some votes. Okay. All right. Okay. What do you think? Should I use it or should I deep six that image? What should I do with it? Anyway, that's an avatar that somebody on Discord made for me for, I guess, for Christmas. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Right. It's festive. And what I'm going to do is about 10 days before Christmas, which will be December 15th, I'll go ahead and change that to my avatar. And then as soon as Christmas is over, I'll change it back. How about that? So, Respawn, are you on Discord? Okay. Well, I'm there in Linux Mint right now. So, Albert, I've been wondering about your avatar. Tell us what your avatar is all about. It's very distinctive. Did you create that yourself, or did somebody make it for you? And what does it represent? I guess we could change this name to the Avatar Hour, since we're going to talk about avatars for a little bit. All right, there, Kitten Rules. And how do you find it quite interesting? Okay, I got it. All right. Okay, so Kitten Rule says, because I have never celebrated it. Well, is there, oh, for reals? Oh my goodness. Yeah, I have to put, yeah, that's beautiful, really. That's beautiful. Okay, so we're going to get into a serious subject here. People ask me why I'm not running Linux Mint 22.2. Okay, and the reason why is that kernel 6.14, or is it 6. It changes 6.14. It causes problems with my virtual machine. I can't start my virtual machine in Oracle. And that's a serious problem here. No telling what other problems. Also, I get a bunch of IRQ, a bunch of bogus IRQ messages. Yeah, it is. And what we can do is, I can just give you some examples here of some things that can go wrong in Linux. Okay. So we'll take a quick look. I'll share my screen here, just to give some new people some idea of some things that can go wrong. Well, we sure don't want to do that. Okay. So this was the error message that I got when I tried to run my VM. So what happened was, there was a kernel flag that wasn't properly set. VirtualBox, please disable the KVM kernel connection, recompile your kernel and reboot. Well, I'm sure not going to do that. That's not going to happen here. Okay. Then I had all these error messages, which I had never had before. Okay. There were hundreds of them, hundreds of these messages. Okay. These IRQ messages, which should never happen, because the computer that I use is Linux certified. Okay. So what I did is, I ran the same VM in Pop OS. Notice the kernel is 617, 617. The virtual machine works just fine. Okay, and actually a higher number kernel. Okay. So these are just some of the things that can go sideways in Linux. Linux is not perfect because there is no perfect operating system. So here it is running in a operating system that's not a desktop, that's not even officially been released yet, December 11, on a higher number kernel, running just fine, but the Ubuntu kernel in Linux Mint 22.2 causes this error message. Okay. So how can that be, right? Did everything come back? Did the screen come back the way it should? Oh, wow. So you're on 617.8. And that kernel in was 617.4. Yeah. Okay, well, the hardware is Linux certified. Because I bought 3 new computers last year for my birthday. I bought new computers and new monitors, and all 3 have been Linux certified. In other words, they're certified to run Linux without any issues and to be able to do the video and the network connection. There's a certain base level like connectivity, video, graphics, and things like that to earn what's called the Linux hardware certification. Right. Okay. So what I do is I've got a program, and I'm going to run it later today, is I've got a program where I'm going to install Linux 22.2 on the computer in the other room. And then my script is going to put back the long-term kernel, the 6.8 kernel. And then we're going to give that a try and see if that fixes that problem so that I can still use 22.2. I'm just not going to use that hardware enablement. Right. And they usually do the hardware certification is done on Ubuntu and Red Hat because these are corporate computers. So they're designed for Red Hat and Ubuntu, for people to administrate Red Hat on. So they have to work. There can't be any BS. Yeah, they have to run Red Hat. That's right. Yeah, there are issues. And these are all things that people who are new to Linux don't understand. And that's part of the discussion on this program from week to week. We talk about pain points and problems with Linux and how to work around these problems. I know. Okay, Red Hat Enterprise. Yeah. So while we're here together as a really nice group, does anybody new? Albert, do you have any other questions? Albert, it's great you could make it here this afternoon. Actually, it's this evening your time. Oh, absolutely. My preference is a Debian base. And that's the thing about Linux. There are 2 bases. There's Arch and Debian. Those are the 2 real just call them tree trunks if you want to, or whatever you want to call them, Arch and Debian. But I've tried Arch from time to time. Like Manjaro was a fantastic distro like 3 or 4 years ago, and then there was a falling out between the developers. Okay, and now there's Endeavor. Okay, now there's Endeavor, which is a very popular Arch-based distribution. But what these Arch-based distributions do, they all trade places being the most popular. And now there are some new ones that are popular with gaming. Yeah, Fedora is the downstream. A lot of people enjoy using Fedora Workstation. And we had some, just so new users understand this, the philosophy of Debian and Arch are completely different. Debian likes to work with things for a couple of years before they release it, their packages. So their packages in kernel are usually older, especially their packages. And some people prefer to use the very latest software. Arch places a priority on giving you something that was just compiled a couple of weeks ago, getting it in your hands as soon as they can. But Debian is much more stable. And the big problem with Arch, and just so new users are aware of this, and this poor girl, she was in Discord earlier yesterday morning, just complaining and using 4-letter words that she updated her Arch and it died. And that's the biggest problem with Arch, is everything will be running and then you'll do an update and then it won't be running. And you'll have to just reinstall. That's your option. Okay. Yeah. Another problem with Arch is the NVIDIA drivers. Debian's come a long way. I remember when you used Debian, you had to use a desktop that was like 2 years old. And now when Debian 13 came out, they offered a more recent version of GNOME, and they also offered Plasma 6.4, I believe, 6.4 with Debian 13 on the Plasma side. Whereas Kubuntu is still using 5 dot something. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's right. Fedora offers an untouched version of GNOME. See, that's what people don't realize. Ubuntu and all these other companies that have a GNOME desktop, they all modify it. You know, Pop! OS had their GNOME version in 22.04, and it was a modified version of GNOME. usually they add some plugins, or they change a few things in GNOME. Very few people offer what's called a plain vanilla experience of GNOME. Yeah. And boy, when you get vanilla GNOME, it is truly vanilla. You have so little control over your fonts, over what your clock looks like on the top panel. It's what I call Spartan desktop. And I do not like that look at all. Yeah. Well, not just that, but it takes up so much room on the desktop. And actually, I don't know if you all have noticed, but I'm running a slightly customized version of Linux Mint Cinnamon. It's modified to give me the maximum screen space, because in the past I had used 2 monitors side by side. Then I decided to switch to 1 monitor, a larger monitor, to do video editing in, because I wanted to be able to see everything in the same monitor without having to keep turning back and, looking back and forth. I wanted a huge monitor when I got when I decided I wanted to edit video. Yeah, and if you see in the studios in Hollywood, when they're editing video, they're not using 2 or 3, 4 monitors. You'll see the guy sitting in front of one large one. And that's the direction I decided to take, because before I was using 2 monitors side by side. Okay, so Mark has an idea there of running Debian testing, because Debian testing is already pretty stable, and that's what Ubuntu does. They pull everything from Debian testing and patch it. So when you see Ubuntu 26.04 next year, next April of 26, you're actually looking at Debian 14. Yeah. How about that? Okay, so did you get to see what I was drinking there? Yeah, Debian 14 branch. It's called Fresca. It's probably not available there in the part of Europe you're in. Oh boy. I went crazy here over Thanksgiving. I used it as an excuse to overeat. Well, looks like we lost a few people there. I guess it is kind of getting late. Yeah. So Mark's did the picture drop out again, or it stayed pretty stable? Yeah, it is getting late. Well, what's my favorite OS? Linux Mint Cinnamon. I can go ahead and just show the desktop real quick to everybody, and then I don't want to keep the program going a lot ago. But yeah, this is the desktop. And like I said, I have a lot of space, and I use Linux Mint Cinnamon with your traditional start menu, because the thing is, I've got a lot of applications, like just for graphics alone, okay? And you just can't do that in GNOME. You just can't present all of these applications. This is just for graphics alone, okay? And then same thing with sound and video. You just have to have a traditional Windows layout to be able to access all of these different applications. The same thing with Office. Games is where I kind of fall short. I'm not a big gamer. Okay. And then what I do is, so I don't have to see all the application start items that I don't want to see, I have a way of turning all those off in my, like here on preferences, I don't have a whole list. I have a way of turning off the ones in Linux Mint that come with Linux Mint that I don't want to see. And then anytime I want to make a change, I just go over here and do it. Okay. Because it's a duplication to have all of these like online accounts to show up over here on internet. I just have the things I use every day. And if I need to do that, I can just go over here. Okay, see how that works? All right. So enough of my screen, but just to give you an idea there, since you asked about it. Oh, that's a Winamp skin, and most people don't realize this. Audacious can use any Winamp's skin and there is a website you can look up, Winamp Skin Museum. And I think there are 25,000 skins in there. Yeah. Now here's the deal. Wayland has trouble with that. Wayland has trouble. Wayland is not the magic bullet that it's been made out to be. Wayland has problems with certain applications. Like there are certain CAD applications that will never be Wayland ready. Okay. And already these companies that use it, they say, well, we have to stay with X11 because we can't run this CAD program in Wayland. It crashes immediately. The same thing there. I'm having trouble using the Winamp skins in Wayland, so I have to turn those off to use the player in Wayland. We'll talk more about that on another program. Are you still here, Kitten Rules, or did you have to leave? I guess Kitten Rules is one of the persons who left us, because I think we're down only to about 3 folks. So what I'd like to do, if it's okay with everybody, is to go ahead and close the stream since we're down to just 3 or 4 folks. And we'll try again next week. All right. Especially with the holidays, we're not going to have a great turnout. But after the first of the year, things should pick up. Yeah. So Marks, I guess I'm going to close it down. So thank you everybody for stopping by today. Have a wonderful week, and hopefully we'll see you again here next week. And say goodbye from beautiful Kingsport, Tennessee, USA. Thank you for stopping by. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream now. Bye-bye.